Thank you so much, Nora. Now, to continue talking about what she was saying about the president's words on the governor, we know that that has also been Governor McMaster's stance of saying that he will take away pay to schools that do enforce mask mandates. And to what President Biden said about that, he said, number one, we will work to get those governors out of the way. And then he went on to say that they will then repay any teacher that has been sanctioned by the governor or the state government. They will pay back all that money, he said, 100%.
Essentially undoing the proviso that is in place in South Carolina that says that if schools enforce mask mandates, that any funding from the state of South Carolina tied to that school will be cut off. But again, as Andrea just said, President Biden saying, don't worry about that. The federal government is going to cover you. With that being said, Governor McMaster has issued a response on Twitter.
Yeah, took to Twitter. He actually tweeted this out before President Biden was even done speaking. And this is what the governor had to say. He said, the American dream has turned into a nightmare under President Biden and the radical Democrats. He said they have declared war against capitalism, thumbed their noses at the Constitution, and empowered our enemies abroad. Rest assured, we will fight them to the gates of hell to protect the liberty and livelihood of every South Carolinian. So we just heard the president double down, saying you will be paid back. And he also said that's what I call bullying in schools, by saying that you will take away funding to that school if you ask or make the children wear masks and the staff. And Governor McMaster still considers it a right not to mask your child.
A number of headlines coming out of that press conference. And for those of you who are just joining us, I think the biggest one is that any employer with more than 100 employees will now be required to make sure each one of those employees is vaccinated against COVID-19. The president followed that up by saying the Department of Labor is now issuing a mandate that paid time off must be given to employees who are going to get themselves or a family relative vaccinated against the coronavirus. So if you employ more than 100 people, or if you work for a company that has more than 100 people, the president is saying in an executive order he is going to require that employer to make sure every employee is vaccinated. That includes federal employees and contractors.
That's what I was going to say. He's issuing another executive order, and everybody who works for the federal government, all of our military, saw this coming, knew the writing was on the wall, saying that anybody who works in the executive branch or a contractor must be vaccinated. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He says the time to wait is over. The FDA has fully approved these vaccinations. So a lot of different things coming. Oh, Andy said 300,000 Head Start teachers must be vaccinated because we have to protect our young people who, as we have seen in the last month, are more likely to get sick with the Delta variant than they were with the first variant of COVID-19.
Well, you look at the numbers right here in South Carolina. We talked about this before we went to the president. In 1 month, we have seen more than 1,000 people lose their lives to COVID-19 in South Carolina. We have now crossed that grim milestone of 11,000 deaths.